peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is. It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa. The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
First of all, let me thank you. I've prepared 2 papers which I believe will be circulated because they'll not be projected. But if you can see, first of all, I want to agree with the Honorable Minister. I've done 2 pictorials. One of them is described as Africa at the dinner table. And if you look at Africa at the dinner table, Africa is on a plate and it is meat. And the diners at the dinner table are France, the United Kingdom, the United States, the European Union, the Chinese, and progressively the Arabs. And my second picture is the African hotspots. It's not visible from there. But if you look at Africa today, and you make a clean sweep with your mind, there are different conflicts of different intensity in Somalia, in northern Mauritania, in northern Mali, in Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Guinea-Bissau, in the Cameroons, in South Sudan, and one can go on and on. And there is a sense in which Africa has always been alive to the question of interference. I will refer this audience, particularly those who are starting, to take time and read the 32 odd speeches that were made in the month of May 1963 by the then heads of states and government of independent African states, the 32 of them. And there are 2 speeches that I want to isolate for this presentation. One was by David Dacko of Central African Republic. And in thanking Emperor Haile Selassie and Kwame Nkrumah on that day, he said that we must never forget that the colonial power has not left us. We must recognize that he did not go willingly. And if we don't check them, they'll come back again. And what would little Central African Republic do against them? Today, he is right. Today, if we remember the activities of France and how they propped up the regime of Jean-Bedel Bokassa, he was right. Today, as the Honorable Minister has indicated, Africa remains the only continent in the world that is referred to in these terms, Anglophone, to mean that we are a sphere of our erstwhile colonizers. About 2 weeks ago, there was a meeting of the Commonwealth in London, England, and a friend of mine who is an Anglophile sent me the photograph very gleefully, saying this is a meeting of 53 equal states. I told him no. If it were so, why is it that the leadership of the Commonwealth is hereditary rather than rotational? In other words, in the minds of the British, her former colonies are still under her tutelage. And I want to submit to us that in the minds of what I'll call the conceptual West, they think they have a divine duty to instruct Africans what to do. True. And in the minds of many African leaders, they think that they have a divine duty to accept what they are told. That, in my view, is what the Honorable Minister was talking about, the mindset. And this is something that has been examined. We have seen France and its very pernicious presence in Africa. We know what they did in Burkina Faso against Thomas Sankara. We know what they did in Mali or the Sudan against Modibo Keita or against Sekou Touré in Guinea. Pernicious to the core. The Portuguese, we know what battles had to be fought in that area. And let me put this very bluntly. When the former leader of Portugal, Marcelo Caetano, was asked, why can you not allow the colonies to gain independence? This is what he said in substance. As I have examined world history over the years, the following have emerged. That the Caucasians have been responsible for monumental discoveries in the development of man. So have the Chinese, so have the Arabs. But the Africans have been responsible for nothing. They are only fit as hewers of wood and drawers of water. And I want to submit to you who are present here that in the conceptual West's unguarded moments, or guarded moments, that is what they think. And that is how they relate to Africa. So the whole idea that they will interfere is something that they think is their God-given duty.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you are in the world watching us, thank you very much for your patronage, and continue to watching us. Give us all the views, all suggestions on how best we can improve our television station. This television station stands for Pan-Africanism, delivers Pan-Africanism, talks about Pan-Africanism. This People's Court will be mainly be used from now to see what is happening in most of the African countries, what we can put in the people of those countries. Today we start with President Uhuru Kenyatta, the Uhuru Legacy, the legacy and development in Kenya. If you want to join us in this debate, please join us on the platform, on Facebook, on Twitter, on all the digital platforms that you have. Talk to us, give us suggestions in the People's Court. What can we do to change the image, the perception? We have 39 months left. We need to make sure that there is an impact in President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. Our defense for the legacy springs from 3 points. One, that there is stability. Two, he did not have much time. The first time was spent half of it in court. The second time, we spent half of it on the streets of Nairobi. We want to praise and stand firm for the handshake that took place when His Excellency, the President, shook hands with his former opponent, thereby bringing Kenya to a level where politics was now being played peacefully without confrontation. You remember many people died. Many have died. And that is a history that we shall only remember, but not again allow such history to repeat itself in this country of the Republic of Kenya. President Uhuru Kenyatta last year rolled out the 4 key development pillars referred to as the Big Four agenda to consolidate the legacy of 2022 when he departs. Unlike his first term, which was spent and ended up with a mixed bag of ICC, some of the things that he had achieved continued to be worked on in the second term. The 2013 manifesto, this time around, was not replicated. The president was keen and is keen to deliver food security, affordable housing, health care universal for everybody, and manufacturing for the people of Kenya. The president has been at the forefront in expansion of manufacturing sector. The president promised increase in creation of jobs through expansion of manufacturing. And as you can see from our clips, I hope my production team should start rolling the clips now. The president promised to increase the creation of jobs through expansion of the manufacturing sector. He emphasized that the political stability of this country and the human harmonious labor relations are a bedrock to good working and a boosting of manufacturing industries. It is with this basis that we can see from the Agenda 4, the pillars of Agenda 4, you can see for yourself that something has been working. What is it that we need to improve on? What can we deliver? Because most of the opponents of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who have not actually said alternatively what could be done in the manufacturing sector, nobody has suggested what else can be done in the manufacturing sector, which has been suggested. What else can be done in affordable housing? What type of housing can we have? Just recently, last week, the president inaugurated the microfinance for small SMEs, small industries, manufacturing, and small medium enterprises, that you can go and borrow money without any security and build a house, repay with every effort that will be arranged on you. The president promised to make each Kenyan at least to have some housing. Yes, this is going on. This is a structure that was very, very important, that needed people to see what is supposed to be done. Of course, there are a few bottlenecks on the housing sector, especially on affordable housing, But according to President Kenyatta, this will be done by reducing the cost of mortgages, raising low-cost funds in building. Last week, as we said, there is now a bank that can lend anybody in Kenya who has no security to pay, to guarantee the loan, to be able to build a house, to be able to go out and make yourself a good and affordable home. It is therefore very important to note that as the president is doing all this, we have so many obstacles that are coming in. But we shall look at the obstacles later. Affordable health care. It is good and true that a healthy nation produces a lot of workers. A healthy nation must have food. A healthy nation must have housing. And all those who are in houses must have health, must have good hospitals, must have good dispensaries, must have access to medicine, to health care services. Therefore, the president is on record for saying that it's not yet over until it is over. That's what the president has said. He's not going to give up on the 4 principle agenda. The health care, affordable. We can see many of the counties, Machakos, Kitui, Makueni, another one, Kisumu. These are pilot counties that have tried to do something about the health situation in the country. This is exactly where we have confidence that it is going to work. When you see a county like Machakos, the governor has been able to deliver some good hospitals, to deliver some nice things to make sure that the people are attracted to the health care services in his county. The only problem that the health care service couldn't do, which I suggested and I need to suggest, this all brings up that the president's program is and still the only viable program on the scale of the Kenyan situation. The rest of the programs that people talk about, infrastructure, which he has done, you can see infrastructure, roads. If you go this side, those of us who travel towards the western, roads have been done in most of the places, completed. They might have started a long time ago, but there is completion, which is the delivery. One of the problems of politics of narcissists, or narcissist political, pathological narcissists, are people who talk about what they want to do on themselves without seeing what others have done. And I want to stick on this point later on when we join hands with my sister Miriam Ogutu. A pathological narcissist only thinks about himself. He talks about what I have, what I will achieve, what we have done. We. They don't talk about what is tangibly achievable. They even sing things that are not sung at all. They even create stories that are not worth it. We shall look at the obstacles against the 4 pillars and then weigh where are we as far as the 4 pillars are concerned. President Kenyatta has emphasized on food security. The food security of any nation is the cornerstone of a healthy nation, a manufacturing nation, and a housing sector equipped nation. You cannot have a house when you have not got food. Neither can you have where will you sleep in order to go and farm in the morning. The two work hand in hand. If you are sick, you can't go to work. The factory will lose a worker because he is sick. So the program, the entire system of the Big Four was done in such a way that it could benefit the people of Kenya if it was actually well done and well without the obstacles of political science that we see that is coming today that ends us in tears. Pathological narcissists always bring tears. The politics of tears is available in Kenya here. You can see it among so many people. When people are practicing their political lines, you see people going towards politics of tears. You saw everybody trying to discredit President Uhuru Kenyatta on the question of his program towards the people of Kenya. But we want to ask in our second phase, what is it that it can take? Can we pick out some of the few things that can be delivered today, given the 39 months left? The time left is not the time that you can complete all the projects as put on paper. The Ministry of Agriculture irrigation schemes, we have seen irrigation schemes mapped out. We have seen dams marked out. As we shall see the obstacles. In 2018-2019 financial year, the government has allocated 400 billion shillings for the 4 development pillars. The universal health care coverage was allocated 44 billion, while 6.5 billion went to the ambitious housing project. Food and security was allocated 20.25 million, and the shillings 2.4 billion was set aside to support the value addition and rise in the manufacturing sector contribution to the GDP to 15% by 2022. All these factors help the president, given that we need to work on the performance. How do we achieve the Big Four? To achieve the Big Four, the president needs the climate, the atmosphere, the security, the tranquility, the sense of no interference, which comes from senior sectors of his own party. The president's party has itself turned it against each other. It has eaten itself. The deputy president is on another running spree, very far from the script that is within the framework of the Big Four agenda. We have no common stand in the middle. The president has been fixed on a wall as if he is the only person who has made this agenda not workable. The Constitution of the Republic of Kenya prohibits the president to take any decisions because this is a democracy that is growing in East and Central Africa and perhaps the best in Africa. Viewers, it is therefore important that when you are weighing the Uhuru, the perception of Uhuru, the Uhuru who set out an agenda, a very good agenda, the Uhuru who set up an agenda for dams, the Uhuru who set up an agenda for food storage, the Uhuru who set up an agenda for farmers to get subsidy. The Uhuru who set up an agenda for each person to have health care. The Uhuru who set up an agenda that manufacturing should be our pillar. The Uhuru who has set up infrastructure development, which we see roads, which we see railroad, airports, we see new things coming. This is a backbone. Britain, America, Europe grew as a result of the entire networking systems. To the extent that today in Europe, we have a tunnel which goes under Atlantic Ocean. 10 miles down Atlantic Ocean, there is a train passing to deliver goods on a daily basis of 1.5 hours to cross over to Paris or to Calais. So we see a developmental-minded president addressing issues of this country, making sure that he follows the Constitution. He can't do without the Constitution. He can't arbitrarily shoot people. He couldn't stand to see the country torn to pieces for the sake of, protecting narcissist politicians, pathological narcissists, those who think that it is only them who can actually make things work. The President of the Republic of Kenya cannot kill people, cannot shoot people. Those who steal money, those who embezzle this money, they have to go through a due process of the courts. It is upon this that I want the audience and the people of Kenya, especially those watching, especially the younger generation on the digital platform, to take a look, step back. What can we achieve? What can we help the president to achieve? What is achievable? The courts still give us a lot of running for our money. We have nowhere to go to except to follow the same court, the court that has been an obstruction to the punishments. Is it the criminal justice system which we must overhaul? The governors were given money. If you look at their conferences, these governors chew the money. They chew it. It is not even eating anymore. It's chewing it. They are chewing the resources. They are eating the resources that are supposed to make people happy. It is not therefore Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's wish that he could come and kill people because they have chewed the money. He wants a legal justice system. Many of the Kenyans who have actually criticized the president have wanted the president to act like other countries in Africa where people are put on firing squad, or people are killed, or people are victimized through victimization of vigilante system. But the president has insisted, which is rightly so, that he will follow the rule of law. If you are caught and you are mentioned in all these scandals, this time you step aside until all these things are finished, concluded, then you can see which direction you want to go. The people of Kenya also need to accept that without the handshake, there would be nowhere. There will be no Kenya that we are talking about. The president has seen all these things that we see today. But the people, the younger generation, create perception. Why do you create a perception of theft? A degree of theft. You would like things to be done. In Africa, we support thieves, but we don't support the truth. Malcolm X told us the worst thing of an black man is to state the truth and tell the black man the truth. He will arrange to assassinate you. When I looked at the temple of Pompeii, the temple of Pompeii in 44 BC, before the slaughter of Julius Caesar, emperor of the Roman Empire, by Cassius, by Brutus, by another Cassius, the first major senators who moved emotion, who talked of impeachment. I look at this as a very serious scenario of today, that the President of the Republic of Kenya is under the Cassius, under the Brutus, the Cassius regime that sees something but doesn't tell you. Until the beggar on the street, myself, let me take myself as a beggar who said, there is a problem. Something has been stuck for 7 weeks. And Julius Caesar said, no, let me stop and see this beggar. His people did not want him to come to see him. While Julius Caesar's wife back in the house was saying, things are not very good, my husband. Can we help the president today? Can we avoid the Cassius and the Brutus and the Juliana Cassius way of living and be straight, candid to the president? Embrace our president. Respect our president. Give him the credit. Give him the strength. Give him the energy. Give him the respect. Give him the mandate. The president cannot operate outside a mandate that is not his. He cannot bring a law from China to come and shoot people on a firing squad in the Uhuru Park. But it is us ourselves to look at what is it that we want Kenya to have? What is it that we can achieve with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta? What can Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta bring for us? Why is it that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is respected abroad, internationally, Africa-wise, regionally, and we people back in home? Why have we created Cassius and Brutus and Juliana? Why have we created a Machiavellian politics? There is a Machiavellian politics in this country where people plant stories and come back to defend the same story and think that they will defend the president. You cannot like the president during daytime and plan against him during night. Let's accept, most of us who have seen all this. I have been in politics for 41 years. 41 years. Since I started carrying newspapers in my socks to cross over so that I service the units against Idi Amin in Uganda. 41 years. From 1978 to date. I have seen quite a lot of transformation changes, and I have seen several other things that can spark a conflict. That's why my people of Kenya, all the time I tell you, you are better off than having Buhari in Nigeria. You are better off than having Paul Biya in Cameroon. You are better off by having Ngwema of Congo. You are better off by having people who are slaughtering each other in Mogadishu. You are better off by having a Faki of Eritrea. You are better off when you preserve, respect the integrity of your president. Abdallah al-Saman, following from Khartoum, Sudan, we are better off, the Kenyans, we are better off than having the situation that we see in Sudan. Respect the president. The respect against the president degenerates into, if you don't respect the president, you are creating a situation that we see on the streets in most of these capitals. The respect that you give to the president, if he's not there, if he's curtailed, you will see what we see in Zimbabwe today, where the leader of opposition and several other demagogues fly into Harare to go and praise the change, regime change, yet a constitutional court had ruled and has ruled that the only government that can be there is Emerson Mnangagwa. Respect your president. There are presidents, of course, on the continent of Africa whose respect cannot be given. But the Kenyan president commands a lot of respect internationally. Therefore, the people of Kenya themselves, inside Kenya, the younger generation inside Kenya, don't be fooled about to go and pick pens. There are three categories of people that I would like to talk about. There are idiots, those who come on Facebook. Before you go to the Facebook, ask yourself, am I an idiot? Then the second category of the people. These are the people who sit, they watch. Either you are an idiot or you are going to be in the second type of category that I'm going to explain. If you look at that, you find that most of the people in the first category, they come to your Facebook, because I want to explain this so that tomorrow we don't have any quarrel at all. There are people who use Facebook, and we have several categories of those using Facebook. It is up to you to choose. It is up to you to choose which category you belong to. In this war against corruption, there are three categories of people: the idiots, the tribalists, and the citizens. I am more concerned with the third one, the citizens. What can the citizens of this country do to change the name, the image of their president? The president of this country is fighting corruption. But tribalists go and say, our man. The president of this country is fighting tribalism. But idiots say, no, he's making us, there is no handshake. There is no need of a handshake. Was there a war before handshake? Someone goes to Facebook to write it that way, that there was there a war. Yes, indeed, there was a war. Yes, indeed, there were killings. Yes, indeed, people died. Baby Agendo in Kisumu died. Yes, indeed, in Kisumu, people were dead, were killed. Yes, indeed, in Nairobi, because of elections in Africa. You have seen elsewhere in Malawi, election almost being nullified. The High Court comes in to say, no, the counting of the votes was not regular. Yes, indeed, there was chaos. Yes, indeed, the economy got a battering. Yes, indeed, there was need for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to have a handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga. Anybody who proposes that is an idiot. Yes, indeed. Those who oppose Uhuru Kenyatta because he's fighting corruption and go back to ethnicity, they are tribalists. Yes, indeed. You as people, as citizens of Africa, of Kenya, yes, indeed, you can stand, give respect. Yes, indeed. Those who go and fill the National Cereals Board with maize imported from Uganda, loaded all over NCPD boards, warehouses. Yes, indeed. You must fight. You must help. You citizens must help the president to fight corruption. Yes, indeed. Those whose monies are put there, we collect money. We have loaned the money from China. As soon as it arrives here, we allocate ourselves the chunk. We buy our wives houses and increase more houses for wives in order for you to be known that you have married more, and increase even more concubines on top of that in order for you to be known that you are the biggest male owner in the whole city or kraal of all cows and cattle. Yes, indeed. The president needs that approach, needs the respect. If you don't respect your president, then whom are you respecting? Whom are you respecting? Why did you then vote for him? The type of unemployment must be reduced by respect of understanding the programs that Kenya has to go through in order to get to the standard of a developing nation. Kenya has made strides. Kenya, unlike Uganda and other countries, has a wider scope of freedom of the press, a wider scope of freedom of politics, a wider scope of freedom of association, assembly, and organization. Freedom of choice of what to eat and not to eat. Of course, if your freedom is infringed upon, there is recourse to courts. People go to the courts and decide to finish the matter within the courts, not to pick up sticks, guns, and shoot each other like some other African countries. Yes, indeed, the president is your commander-in-chief. Give him the decorum that he deserves. Thank you very much. Let's come back. Don't go away. When we come back in the next, we have 15 minutes. Miriam will interrogate me on the factors that I have missed or we have missed. Thank you very much. God bless you. We discuss Africa. We see what ails Africa. And today, this afternoon, we want to see whether Sudan will permanently remain a sick child of Africa. Is it a permanent sickness? Can we resolve the issues of Southern Sudan? Is it something that has gone wrong for 200 years? There has always been a problem in Southern Sudan, in that great region, starting from all the way the Alimadi Wars and the rest of all what happened until today. Peace seems to be elusive. Why has UN taken slow action? Why hasn't UN set up a tribunal? We want to see a tribunal that will make sure that Southern Sudan people are accountable. Those who committed crimes against the human beings. 20,000 Sudanese perished. They are perished. They are not accountable. Nobody can account for them. And we cannot sit here, go on hammering peace agreements without mechanisms of accountability. If we set a tribunal for Sierra Leone, for Rwanda, for Camera Rouge, we need somebody to stand up for the poor masses, the masses that have died, the masses that continue to die, the masses that are being brutalized, murdered, maimed on a daily basis by marauding armies of both Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. There must be an accountability. You are not going to sit here and tell people there is no accountability in Southern Sudan. There must be a tribunal. Why do we run to harass countries of Kenya? Put ICC on Kenya, put ICC on this country, put ICC on Central African Republic. Why have we delayed on putting a tribunal for Southern Sudan to find out who is killing, who has been killing, how they have been killing people? Let me speak for the people in Southern Sudan, the women, the children who have not gone to school, the children who have no medicine, the children who have nothing, who have been running since 2013, and the war cannot end because of two people. Let them face the tribunal. I'm not going to keep quiet as a Pan-African to see Southern Sudan being maimed, being tortured, being cut, dismembered, and we keep quiet and watch people vote images of people, of malcontents singing to us in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in South Africa, telling us they have money. Let them face the international tribunal and tell the tribunal who gave them the guns, where they buying them, how they were killing people. Enough of is enough. Enough is enough for Africa. We have had enough. There is no need of that anymore. Enough is enough. And if people have died, they will not cry. We people who are left on planet Earth must cry for them. We must find justice for them. We must make sure that there are leaders who go on bragging on television stations all over the world, who are accountable. They must be behind bars. Thank you very much, viewers. Welcome back to our last segment of about 10 to 15 minutes. With me in the studio right now is Miriam. Miriam, you heard my discussion. I've put it bare. The People's Court, Uhuru has done what he can. The people of Kenya need to give Uhuru the respect so that he can complete some of these projects. Some might not be completed. Some might be completed. Whoever takes over from there can run and complete the subjects, like Kibaki left some of them not complete, and the Uhuru has completed. Remember, in the first 5 years, Uhuru concentrated on the Constitution to make sure that the Constitution is not violated in any way. And it was the first time that devolution and other things component of the Constitution were being implemented. Implementing a new thing that has never happened in a desert of Sahara would be a miracle. After 24 years with the same Constitution under Moi and the same one under 8 years under Kibaki was an enormous task for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Then plus the ICC cases that also bogged down the first 5 years. The second 5 years started in a wrong footing, but in March of last year, they managed to correct the situation. We spent almost 6 months. The economy was battered. Things did not go well, and there we were. That's where we are. Yes.
And also in your submission, you mentioned that we only have, the president only has about 39 months left for him to deliver in some of these promises he has made to Kenyans. Are we being realistic, really, expecting that the president will deliver the Big Four agenda in 39 months?
That's why I've said the deliverables will be seen. Those that we can pick out to deliver is what the president can deliver. But above all, the president needs decorum, the sense of decorum, the sense of behavior, the sense of respect, the sense of understanding and patriotism to say, this is my president, this is where I stick, that is my president up to the end. What we have seen here, 3 categories of people who come to the Facebook. And don't be shy to say, when you have your Facebook page, your wall is your wall. But when you come to my wall, don't play those cards on my wall. Don't bring don't become an idiot and draw pictures that are not worth. Don't become a tribalist and say, I am from Turkana or I'm from Karamoja. Don't come to my wall if you say you are not a citizen of a country. You must be a citizen of a country. And that country is where you belong. Whether you are in the United States of America, it doesn't mean there are no idiots there. They are there. In fact, most of the people who do these things are in the US. They murder people, they prepare guns from the wall. So the social media was not brought for people to insult. You can see the type of insulting that when you write something about corruption, about the president, someone comes, he said, no, that man, this one. Even someone who had not thought of being born, today he can tell you a story, which is very good. Historically, we must keep facts. For example, most of us were born when the Second World War was over. And we kept on asking people when they were teaching us about the Second World War during Idi Amin, when Amin came up and said he was a cook in King Rifles Army in Machakos. We didn't know where Machakos is. That's okay, learning history, but we cannot change history and turn it into witch hunt of the present.
But also you mentioned that, and you just mentioned now that the president is being undermined and very disrespected. And this we can see very openly. It is the people from his own party. Is it so difficult for them to sort out their differences so that they can focus together for the better good of this country?
Miriam, if you saw yesterday, last night, at 9 o'clock, I was really touched. When I compared the two clips of one in a church in Kasarani and another one in a church in Naivasha.
And the ladies were somewhere in Baringo, I think.
Yes. The ladies in Baringo, fantastic job. Embrace. Because this is it is a group of all parties. You have ODM, you have Jubilee.
It is bipartisan, yes.
Yes, Jubilee and the rest. They are doing embrace. Let's embrace peace. Without peace, there can't be anything. But the two churches, the same players, the same transcript, the same script, which I saw in 2007 is here. We are beginning it. I was in the hotel in 2007 and we were watching the news at 1. They say Wanjala has been arrested with pangas on a roadblock. I don't know whether you people remember that. That was the MP for the assistant minister by then in the Kibaki government with pangas at a roadblock. The thing started that way. Where were these pangas going? I saw this. We were in that hotel reporting on a sincere act. We were with Sky News, myself. So when you see the signs, people going into their backyards and then starting hitting in Naivasha, it was very clear, an assault, salvo, towards Raila. A big salvo. So Raila tomorrow also will hold a rally in Mombasa with Joe. They will also throw a salvo. You see, these salvos have an effect. Mm-hmm. Back in Kasarani, the Kasarani group did not talk yesterday politics. They said they are defending the position of the president.
So what should the president do? Because the people who are undermining him are in his government. What are we supposed to do about it as
That's
Kenyans?
why we are here.
But what are we supposed to do about it as Kenyans? Because
when Julius Caesar was going to be killed at the temple of Pompeii, 44 BC, go and read and see. Even the wife of Julius Caesar was saying, my husband, there is something wrong. So we are waking up the spirit of Julius Caesar that take the responsibility so that these people can no longer start insulting you. Take out the responsibility. The sword, I have been saying the sword is a symbol of leadership. There is need to cut some people to size. Because if you don't support the president, then why are you in the party?
So are you confident that actually the president is the one in charge of this country right now?
Yes.
If he's not able to make such decisions.
He is. Otherwise we could be driving upside down.
Upside down.
Or we could drive on a on the left hand side when it is right.
But would you say then his hands are tied? And how are they tied? That he's not able to make these very important decisions that might move the country forward in terms of development?
I think he needed support like the one I'm giving. And I'm confidently, the one you are giving, the one I'm giving here now. The questions you are asking are the same questions that he's watching, if he's watching, to know, people are saying, you have to wake up, come out of that soft.
Yeah, Kenyans are asking, our president really, is he in charge of
today?
This? Yes.
You can see, if you see the picture that I drew, the chart. Have you seen the chart? The chart, which category do you belong to? Not that one, but I've sent a chart around which is it the comfort zone, the developing zone, the takeoff zone?
The takeoff zone.
Which Kenyan, which one are you in? I think it is very important to ask yourself, which one do I belong to? Do I belong to the one that is looking for trouble, or do I belong to the other one, which is?
And assuming today, should the president leave the office today, nearly 7 years after he's been the president of this country, what will be his legacy as for today? What would you say he's done for this country?
There's quite a lot of things that have been done.
Let's name them. One.
Huduma Center.
Yes.
You can get your passport.
It's very good, yes.
At home.
Yes.
In fact, you sit, you wait, they call you. Even if it takes 6 months, you not pay a penny.
It doesn't take 6 months.
No, I'm now giving the extreme.
Yes.
Yes. He has modified immigration. The officers at the airport, people used to be arrested and be asked for money. They are not asking for money. They serve your card as it is. He has modified the police force. It is beginning to grow up. We've left the comfort zone. Actually, that's what, when we are no longer in the comfort zone. We are in a learning zone. We've left fear.
We are still not.
We are now returning to fear.
We're still not finding excuses, and the fears of lack of self-confidence being affected by others' opinions.
That is where I'm now saying, Madam, I sat down as a researcher and I did this.
Okay.
I've now put it there for you. Every Kenyan or every African to find his category. Am I in the fear state?
Yes.
Do I fear X? Do I fear talking about my country? Are you, as a journalist, fearing talking about your country? Yet your country is not going the direction you want.
The right direction.
The way you're asking the questions, you find out which category you want to be. Then, after all this, I think it's a very good, interesting, you can utilize it also elsewhere with some people. It's an interesting analogy. The comfort zone, where you feel safe and keep quiet. And you don't want to touch anybody. Everything will say, Baba amesoma constitution, mimi siwezi kusoma.
Okay.
Yes, if Baba has read the constitution, then I cannot read it.
So that is the comfort zone.
The comfort zone.
How about Kenyans are tired of these gimmicks of corruption fighting, and so now they don't want to be involved?
Now they are in the category of a learning zone.
A learning zone.
They want to take off.
Not complacent.
They don't want to go back.
Yes.
They are tired.
Yes.
They want to take off, but something is acquire new skills. That's why you see people talking about revolution. People, some agents paying people to go and demonstrate on the streets. That is Miriam, this is the center. And a Kenyan can find
the placing there. All right. And when you look at, just before we go down to look at shortly some of the president's legacy in terms of the Big Four agenda development, there was something called the Vision 20 that under President Mwai Kibaki, they made a blueprint that will, a development print that will catapult this country for the next couple of years until 2030. Why was it so difficult for President Uhuru Kenyatta to pick on some of those things and maybe work on them instead of coming out with his own ideas that might not even see the light of day, some of them?
Most of the African countries are planning on the agendas 2060.
It took experts to draw this Vision 2030.
Yes.
For the vision.
And the same experts everywhere in every African country. There is no African country which is not talking about infrastructure.
Yes.
Go to Uganda.
Yes. And that
for
was,
the first time since 1955.
And that was part of it in the 2030. Yes.
In 1955 is the only time we had a bridge. One bridge.
In the 19?
From 1955 when I was born.
Okay.
The day I was born is when the bridge, I found the bridge already had been built because I was born in 1955. The bridge was opened in 1954. That is the only bridge. If it gets cut, you can't go one part of Africa. You get my point? Today, Uganda talks of roads, feeder roads, good roads. Unfortunately, some of them go towards the president's area only. But it is still Uganda. We have no quarrel about that. We have also got part of our share in the eastern and northeastern. Me, I'm very happy with the development that Museveni has done in Karamoja. Karamojons used to steal everything from us. Even our bodies and blood. Today, Karamojons don't steal anything in Uganda. That's development. That's food security. They grow carrots, cabbages, onions, millet, simsim, they bring it to Kampala to us. That is an achievement. You can't say we haven't done it. It is under Agenda 2030.
Agenda 2030.
And then AU has increased Agenda 2063, which now marks corruption. By 2020, they said by 2020.
That is for the guns.
Yeah, guns.
The silencing of the
and
guns.
The corruption is 2021 or 2022.
They've still given it time.
Yes. You know, because it is a cancer.
It's a process, yes.
It's a cancer, Miriam. A heavy cancer. You can see how people are being fought. How even we journalists ourselves, for example, the pictures that were depicted on social media came from the police.
Which pictures?
All the pictures that are flying about the scam of the gold.
Ah, okay, yeah, I've seen
even putting a wanted, you cannot put a wanted.
For the fake Matiang'i.
Yes.
I've seen one of those. Yeah.
You cannot put any wanted notes on your Facebook or anywhere without the police, and they're using the police, insignia. You must be mad. So when this man comes out, first from the day he was said, he's the one, he started running away. I think he went to the cartels and the cartels said, don't run. You just go there and say. Now, they have, this afternoon, they are releasing the videos of him inspecting the guard of honor. So, you don't know. But when you see lawyers now have come up, it's the society, the citizens. They have come up, lawyers saying, no, our man is innocent. Because the money was being chewed by so many people. Most of these lawyers you see in that court thrive, they drive those big cars, I told you one day, Miriam, if you put a roadblock at Langata near Nairobi West, that roundabout is called what? Where there is Tuskies.
Nairobi West.
Nairobi, no.
At the T-Mall, yes.
T-Mall.
Nairobi West.
If you put a roadblock at T-Mall, do you know how many people will come to town? If you ask, you are coming from Karen, isn't it? You live in which house in Karen? Bring me your documents. How did you build it? Do you know how many people will end up in Tanzania Serengeti Park? Because they will not explain. Out of that, even bishops want to explain how they built that house. Because the citizens ourselves, we are a problem. We now look at this corruption. Are we not blaming the president? We are. But let me ask you, if you are blaming the president, ask yourself in Karen or Mrunda, you have that big house. What did you do as a citizen?
The government should find out what they did to get those houses.
Before the government finds out. In China,
it's its job.
China, the neighbor finds out if you have changes.
But have you visited Karen? Nobody even knows the next neighbor.
Thank you very much. I think let me not tell you much. The purpose here is...
There's just one question I want to ask before we can wind up. And in his speech while he was delivering, in his first Madaraka Day after he was elected, the president, Mr. Kenyatta, promised that the government will continue to encourage, this is under food security, and encourage large-scale commercial farming to increase and diversify the staples in the country. And also he noted that the small-scale farmers will get better extensions to access the market, and also that the Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation is to release terms under which farmers can lease government land for agriculture, and so on and so forth. And since then, what you've heard is farmers cannot get fertilizers. Farmers have worked hard to make sure that their food is ready. It cannot be accepted in the government's granaries because it's full. How is that working for the Kenyan farmer? Or for the agricultural center, or for the food security?
To be very honest, Miriam,
yes.
It's a sad state. It's a sorry state. The maize that is in Kenya now is from my country. Don't hide. Everywhere in Bungoma, in Eldoret, in where Kitale is from my country. The Kenyan farmer, some of them in Trans Nzoia still have their maize in the house.
Others rotting.
The people who are asking for their votes, and I want to be candid. I told you I use one word, pathological narcissist.
Narcissist, yeah. Pathological narcissist.
Narcissist.
A person who feels they're self-important.
Ababantu. Bera babo ka. Narcissist. I am the one. I. That's why I hate message. I hate every. I. You see, have you seen why I disagree with message? That thing of I has created me the sense of fear. I've run away. Let me stay where I am. My children will grow. One of them will look for me. If I'm killed, he will come to bury me. Pathological narcissist. After filling the granaries in the Rift Valley, then you come on top and say there is no problem. The maize is going to be bought. Are we there? Are we together? You saw this. This is not Raila Odinga. This is not Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga did not fill the stores in Eldoret, in Bungoma, in Kitale, in Nairobi. We have more maize than what the farmers who bought the fertilizer can deliver. Is that not a point enough for an impeachment? Ash. Is that not point enough? Go and investigate the maize. Pick all the documents from the railway and see who, right from the source in Uganda of National Cereals Board, who was the main contact, who contacted, who was the main supplier. Kenyans should be told the truth. It's not Uhuru Kenyatta. It's not. Okay, Uhuru Kenyatta can go, but you cannot lead a country that has no food, that has no house. If you are campaigning to take over this country, will you take over dead bodies when people are already dead of hunger? We can't cross over to Turkana. You see the children naked There's no food to them. Will you lead a country of that nature? Wallahi. There you are. Help the president of Republic of Kenya. He did not fill the stores of maize which was brought from my country. So and it is in Kisumu. Your place, Kisumu, where it is full. And the maize has even become green. Not fit for human consumption. We should keep quiet. Is it Uhuru? No. Uhuru did not feel those.
So where should the back stop? The
back now stops with an investigation. You have to get these guys. They are in jail. They are in court. The rule of law. Kenya also expands. You must also weigh with the rule of law expanded. You can't shoot people. You can't send people like the Philippines with a hammer and get all drug dealers, and the president himself leads with blasting the first head. Boo! Yeah. Boo! Second head. And the people are cheering. We can't do that in Africa. We are human. Uhuru is human. He can't do that. The law has to catch up.
Take its course.
We have agreed that we are setting up a democracy equivalent to the democracy of Lynn. We are suffering.
Yes.
That's why I drew that chart. Bring it back again.
So when you say
find out where you belong.
Let's help the president. What kind of help do you think Kenyans can give the president? How do you want us to help the president?
Giving him respect and encouragement.
After that.
Then after that, you think you...
Because I know the majority.
You know, if you give... Can I tell you what? If a snake, if you are asleep and a snake passes over your body, and if you have covered yourself like this...
That is so... Why? Okay.
Miriam,
that's chilling.
Do you know that it will not bite you?
Oh, okay. It's chilling.
But the moment you feel something is coming, then you feel, the first, it will, whatever it will find, But if a snake, that's why snakes don't bite soldiers.
So in layman's language, what are you saying?
That's even the layman's language.
That is not...
In the layman's language.
In English, what are you saying? Say it in English.
Let me come back to English. That the Uhuru that you think is stupid.
The one sleeping and covering the head.
Yes.
Okay.
Please. If you encourage him from this comfort zone, bring him there and now you cause fear, you know when he comes back, baby, it will be trouble. And watch the space. Haven't you seen the headline today? What does this headline say? There you are. No, what does that headline tell you?
I read it in the morning. You are unwanted in Kiambu. Ruto told by the leadership.
So there you are. Which other place next?
Such headlines are very alarming, don't you think?
No, it's not that alarming.
It is.
They said it. Did you listen to the pastor?
To the news yesterday.
Gakuya.
Oh, yesterday.
No, Pastor Kakuya. Have you heard the tape? Kakuya? The pastor who said there's a demagogue stealing your time. He was honest. Uhuru is like a snake whose time is being stolen.
So
he said, instead of the snake, I know you are worried about the snake. Instead of the snake biting, time is being stolen. Have you seen the type of talk that coming? That is, when I listened to that tape, the best thing I did, I said, People, you know, when you arouse sleeping dogs, Nkrumah told Patrice Lumumba that, my brother, I have been in politics. I got independence in 1957. The white man has tormented me. But there will come a time when I will tell my people to stand up to strike back. But for now, since Congo is getting independence in 1961, 4 years after Ghana, leave sleeping dogs lie. When Patrice Lumumba had the advice of Kwame Nkrumah, the following morning Patrice Lumumba issued a statement that Congo is not yours. Congo belongs to us. Now we got the independence, we shall move to nationalize what belongs to us. You know, people need to go to school and start reading these things. The viewers out there. After 3 days, to date, the body of Patrice Lumumba has never been found. Can I repeat that? After 3 days, the body of Patrice Lumumba
has never been found.
So when sleeping dogs, people are lying, don't confront them. The president is not a younger man. He's a head of state. He must take into accountability all the formats that we need as statesmanship. Even if when you come and say, I saw Matanga carrying a fan, stealing it, he has even broken it to pieces to put in the pocket. He said, okay, let's first go and check where was the fan coming from. That's statesmanship. That's leadership quality. Then by the time he comes, he wouldn't like to do an embarrassment that can cause. Remember, the president of Republic of Kenya has been embarrassed before. When he sacked 5 of his best friends, some of them are child friends, he told them, step aside and go.
Over corruption, yeah.
Later on, only to come back and find. So those who are blaming Uhuru Kenyatta, you don't expect Uhuru Kenyatta to kill people. If he started killing people the Philippines way, the Filipino way, that guy from the Philippines, he's not a joker. Anakugonga na nyundo kubwa.
Duterte.
Yes.
He's very interesting. The other day he said that they should take all the garbage from Philistine and put them on trucks and take them to Canada. I don't know for what. So he's a very unique person there.
Bismarck Kabura is asking a question which he should be asking me. I am from Uganda People's Congress. The only man who left the documents is me. The rest have crossed over to NRM. I still have my documents, and until he comes by spirit to tell me what to do, I'm sorry.
You're waiting for a visitation?
Yes, he always visits me.
He does?
This energy I get from him.
Oh, okay.
He prays for me to lay a better Uganda. He prays for me to lay a better Africa.
Good.
He's not a tribalist. He's not a smaller nation. Obote got problems because he was crying for the liberation of Zimbabwe and Tanzania. He cried in Singapore. He also played the politics of a pathological, narcissist. Crying tears like Theresa May, or crying tears like Nikolai Gorbachev. You saw 1989, the collapse of the Soviet Empire.
Union, yes.
By the time the guy woke up, tanks were everywhere. He said, oh no, my founding fathers, Stalin and Lenin, will never forgive me.
Okay.
So that is true. That's what I am. Until he visits me, which he does most of the time, to give me the strength, the energy. I don't have money to fight the kind of men who have the money. But I fight for the truth. I stood for the truth in 2009, Miriam, when every Kenyan was worried under a blanket, including almost the president was worried. He put the blanket down when Ocampo and Kofi Annan come here. They wanted to say the hold is a holiday. The president is not coming to work on Harambee Avenue. You remember? Because Kofi Annan and Ocampo have come with fake evidence. But I stood up. I challenged them. Today, the court is useless. Thank you. It's useless. Kwisha. I've rendered it useless. Tomorrow, I'll issue a statement at 11 o'clock on the African Union. The state of affairs in the African Union, the cases of espionage. Miriam again, have scored.
All right.
Can you believe?
So we'll wait.
You get the news 11
a.m. tomorrow.
Right on dot.
Okay.
Well dressed.
Good.
Well cultured to deliver. The elections for African Union are due.
Yes, they are. And the EU.
I am also standing
did you
up.
See the elections, the EU.
Of course, I'm elevating my position. I need to stand up. I'm a nation of Africa. I can contest for any position in the African Union. But I have succeeded in one thing. What I said in the other report, my Jesus Christ, I was vindicated. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock, keep your eyes on the screen. Damning report, document, get ready. Things are hot. They will get hotter tomorrow.
They'll get hotter tomorrow. So do we need to get prepared?
Yes, we need to get prepared.
To just calm down the heat.
You can even go in the rain. It's about to rain.
Okay.
And keep yourself.
My rain and the hair does not really get along, but tomorrow we'll find.
Oh, I hadn't seen your hair.
I'm just saying the rain and the hair.
I had not seen the good hair.
Very well. So we will see you tomorrow.
I did not see the good hair. Thank you very much. I was not here in the morning when the beautiful hair. My beautiful German friend. Thank you very much, Miriam.
Yes.
This is I was watching you from the behind the scenes anyway.
Yes, you were.
And I actually
you sent me.
I admired the zeal of standing alone, defending yourself in the absence of a general fallen sick.
Defending myself?
Yes.
I was not under attack.
I even sent you a message. You didn't reply.
Encouragement. I was almost done. 2 minutes to the end of the show. But thank you. Did I not appreciate you? I did that.
Mabutu and Kasavambu betrayed Congolese nationalism to detriment of Patrice Lumumba.
To the detriment.
And they worked.
They did that.
Just as the temple of Pompeii, Brutus and Cassius, they were two Brutus. They all betrayed Emperor Julius Caesar. So always people who plot have three. Never forget that.
All right.
Judas Iscariot had Peter. And then the person he gave the money. They are always three.
Sorry, Judas did what?
Judas Iscariot.
Yes.
Had Peter.
Where?
Within had Peter within the disciples.
In what way?
Peter was a traitor.
Peter?
When they asked, yes, Peter
is the favorite disciple of
No, the one who said, do you know him?
He was afraid.
No.
He was just afraid.
Exactly. In spiritual language, which I was taught, that was betrayal. Yes. If you have faith in David, that the journey we are going together with David, whatever happens with David, or call him Devi, what David.
Okay, let's just stick to David. That works for me.
You know, I missed you in the morning.
I'm just, yes. I don't call people
Peter,
short names.
Peter
yes.
was a traitor.
Yes, he did.
He turned on Jesus.
Yes.
Do you know this man? They said, no. I have never even seen him.
3 times.
So there are always 3 pillars. That's why you can't cook a pot without 3 stones.
Without 3 stones.
The philosophy.
Okay.
And that's why there are always three categories of people in the world: idiots, tribalists, or ethnic nations. Why do you think the whites came here and formed us? Why do you think Africa was partitioned? Let's go back 1 minute. 1 minute, it's a theory.
Divided.
It's a Greek theory. They came, they listened to our language, and they said, aha, from river this one to river that one, that the other side is not speaking the same as this side. So this river forms the basis, tribal.
Of the boundary, okay, yes.
So they left us Waiyaki, Nyambura, Muthoni, the river between. When you are crossing over to Nyeri, the people in Muranga on this side are Protestants. The people of Muranga, of Makeno, the river between, that river is called what? Makeno. Ask Fred, he will tell you. Those are Catholics. Paka huko. Have you seen how they came with the doctrine of 3 stones? You cannot cook food on 1 stone. The only 1 stone you can cook on is a stove, which again needs also 3 stands.
It does have 3 stands, yes.
Go and look at your gas cooker.
My gas cooker?
Has 4?
Yeah, might have a...
Go and no gas cooker, the top.
The top, I don't have the top one, so...
You have what? A smaller one?
No, the complete cooker, not the
even the complete cooker.
It has how many?
3.
Oh.
Tomorrow.
The banners. Ah, okay.
Why?
Hold on, mine doesn't have 3.
It has.
It's just 1. But I'll check. Anyway, I get your point.
Look at the format on top, the one you remove.
Ah, okay.
Then it remains that one that brings the fire.
Yes.
Why is it directed in 3?
All right.
We go to physics. I am teaching here.
So the doctrine of 3.
Physics.
God the Father, the Son, and the
Holy
Heat.
Ghost. Haven't you seen the God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit?
Yes.
One of them lingers. That's why Obote's spirit lingers near me all the time.
Even right now?
Yes, it is here.
I should get out of here then.
Thank you very much, viewers. That is as far the Uhuru Legacy. We continue tomorrow with the Uhuru Legacy in other programs that we shall bring and development. We shall show you if you have anything that is coming up in your county, if you have anything that you feel the government must do instead of waiting until the 39 months are over, talk to us. This station therefore comes to an end.
The station comes to an end?
The program, sorry.
The station is still there.
The medium will finish it.
The program comes to an end. And we'll see you tomorrow with another edition of Good Morning Africa.
Yes, with a special, exclusive Matanga Africa perspective.
Good.
With a special report on the African Union.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow then.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.